Good evening, viewers. We are glad to have you join us in this webinar, Decoding the MBA Admissions Process at McCombs. This series by ReachIvy helps prospective students decipher the admissions process at top schools globally. I'm Simran, Chief Editor at ReachIvy, and I will be leading today's webinar. Before we get started, I would love to share a little bit about ReachIvy. ReachIvy is a premium education and careers advisory. Our expert panel of study abroad and career consultants help aspiring students get accepted into Ivy League and other top-ranked schools globally. Our services include counseling and profile building, college selection, applications, and interview preparation, amongst many others. Over the past 7 years, we have helped several students reach top schools of their choice globally. So today we have with us the admissions director of McCombs School, Rodrigo Malta. Rodrigo, hi, how are you?
Hi everybody. It's good to be here.
Excellent, Rodrigo. So we're going to ask you a few questions related to your school. So please, would you like to share some university, some background information such as the location, history, philosophy, whatever you'd like to share about it?
Great. So hi viewers. My name is Rodrigo Malta. I'm the Managing Director for Admissions here at the McCombs School of Business at the University of Texas at Austin. A little bit of background about me. I'm originally from Brazil. I've been living in the US since I was in high school. And I've been working at McCombs for 10 years in MBA admissions. I'm also a graduate of the program from the class of 2007. I went through the full-time MBA program here at McCombs. I'm really excited to share a little bit about what our school has to offer, especially for our great Indian candidates. So to answer the question, a little bit about the university and the school. As I mentioned, we're the University of Texas at Austin. We're the premier research institution in the state of Texas, the most prestigious school in the state of Texas, and also one of the largest research institutions in the U.S. We're located in the city of Austin, Texas, which is a growing tech hub for the U.S. So if you think about tech in the U.S., you may think about Silicon Valley in the Bay Area or Seattle. Austin is actually right up there with those cities as well. The McCombs School of Business itself, it's one of the largest colleges at the university. And the motto of the University of Texas is what starts here changes the world. And we really believe that the students that come to school at McCombs at the University of Texas are given the resources, the support, the academic knowledge to go out and change the world in their communities that they are a part of after graduation. They make a huge impact in the program while they're here. And it's something that we're really proud of, is the impact that our students have in the university and in the communities they become a part of after graduation.
What starts here changes the world. That sounds stupendous. That's like beautiful. So could you tell us something about your MBA program? I mean, what kind of degree and what are the strengths, core curriculum details, anything that you could share with our students, please?
Sure. So I tend to remember things in a chronological manner a little bit better. So I'll give you a brief overview or a snapshot of what our program looks like. So the full-time MBA program here at the McCombs School of Business is 2 years long. We start with a great class really early. When you look at top 20 MBA programs in the US, we start in early August. So for our Indian students and all of our international students, you're going to be planning on arriving in Austin probably in early July, so that you can get your home set up, you can get your cable set in, your internet hooked up so you communicate with home, talk to family members, and get ready for school. So we bring in a class of 265 students, more or less. We may go as high as 280 like this year. And we divide our students into cohorts. 4 cohorts of about 60 to 65 students. And you're going to be taking all your core classes together during that first semester. So the idea is bringing people from a variety of backgrounds. So you go through the core experience together. So in the accounting class, for example, you may have a CPA. In the finance class, for example, you may have an investment banker. And the idea is for those that have that previous knowledge to share what they have learned with their classmates. And after the core is complete, everybody's going to have that foundation and knowledge to be successful with the electives that come in afterwards. One of the biggest, I think, selling points of the MBA program here at McCombs is the flexibility of the actual degree. So you start to take electives in your first semester. The second half of your semester, you have some options to already customize the program for what you see fit. The majority of your second semester and your full second year is all electives. So you could select and follow a concentration. We have over 20 concentrations. So you can follow a concentration path, or you can look at your background, working with our academic advisor and career advisor, and see what are the knowledge gaps that I have on my resume. What are the knowledge gaps that I have to make a career switch, and build the program that's right for you. So we have really strong professors and academic support across all of the business function areas. So our accounting department's great. Marketing department is very strong. Finance as well, operations. So we're really comfortable in letting our students select kind of that path that's right for them. So if students take one thing away from the conversation today, is that McCombs we really pride ourselves in our community. So that cohort program is really strong and build the foundation of not only knowledge, but also relationships as you go through the 2 years here at McCombs. We also have a highly flexible program where you're able to customize with the support of academic career advisors, so you're making the right decisions during the time that you're here at McCombs.
Wow, that sounds so exciting. It almost makes me want to leave my job and run right back to McCombs and do something there. So I'd like to ask you, like, what's a classic day for a student? I mean, there's a lot of curiosity. Students want to know, do they just get up and run for their courses? Do they do something fun? Can you describe something for us there?
Oh, sure. So I'll start by saying there's probably not one typical day. I'm going to try to cover maybe a kind of a couple examples of what our students may do with a little bit of a framework, so you can learn a little bit more about how we go about our weeks here at McCombs. So one thing to note, the business school at the University of Texas at Austin has classes Monday through Thursday, which means Fridays you have off. Though our students will actually argue that Fridays are probably their busiest day. You're going to be doing class projects. We have an MBA Plus leadership program that has a ton of activities, usually on Fridays. Or you might use that Friday to go on recruiting trips for employers. We have career tracks. We also have on-campus interviewing, second-round interviews that happen with the companies that you may use that Friday for. So even though the Fridays are technically off from a class perspective, those might be your busiest days. Monday through Thursday, so the classes at McCombs are a mix of case-based classes and then also lecture-based classes with a lot of teamwork. Classes are, you have Monday and Wednesday classes, and you have Tuesday and Thursday classes. Usually what happens in the majority of the classes, on Monday, you may have a class discussion with more of a lecture-based approach. And then on a Wednesday, you might be going through cases related to what you talked about that previous Monday. We do have a couple classes like strategy that are purely case-based, but what you'll see is the majority of the classes are a mix of styles with lots of group projects. During your first semester, we pick the classes for you for that first half. So you're going to be going to school in the morning, 8 to 12. You'd have a career planning class once a week in the afternoon. So everybody takes the career planning class and it gives you that knowledge base to really be successful, the on-campus recruiting job search for internships and full-time jobs as well. That's during that first semester. Afternoons, you're going to be doing a lot of the class projects. You're going to be doing a lot of homework, etc. So one of the great things about living in the city of Austin is that it affords you a great lab or a laboratory for you to put to practice what you're learning in the classroom. So you can utilize our business community, which is very accessible, which is different from maybe a city like New York or Los Angeles, because those are so big that it's a little bit hard to get around. The city of Austin is large enough to have a very vibrant and growing business community, but it's also accessible, so our students can go out and meet potential employers right after school using a bike. The university is right in the middle of the city, so you can be downtown within 20 blocks. So you can put to practice what you're learning in the classroom because of the city environment, but you also can take a break. The city of Austin is known for its outdoor activities. We have great weather year-round. I'm originally from Brazil, so I like the warm weather. So it doesn't really get super cold here. You're always able to bike to school. Tons of live music, tons of outdoor activities, and our students surely take advantage of that whenever they need a little bit of break from school, because the academic rigor of the program is pretty intense. So at some point in time, you're going to want a little break, and the city really affords you a great way to build community with your classmates and enjoy a little bit of non-MBA related activities.
Wow, now Texas is on my bucket list, so I'm definitely going to try to come there. So I'd like to learn something more. Now, see, you are sitting across the most important table, where you are going to cherry pick your students for the next batch, for the next incoming class. So could you share with us what kind of class profile are you looking at? Brass tacks, things like UG, GPA, GMAT, GRE score, their work experience, lack of it, etc. I mean, something that can give us direction in terms of what kind of students are really, suited for your program.
Got it. So from a class profile perspective, I'll do two things. One, I'll talk first about our class profile, and then I'll talk generally about what we look for. And maybe as I go through, if there are questions that you have about how we look at a particular application components, we can dive deeper into a particular area. So from a class profile perspective, we bring in students, about 260 to 280 students. We receive over 2,000 applications in a year, so it's a highly competitive process. The class is super diverse, so there is no industry in our class that represents more than 20% of our students. So the highest industry representation that we have is consulting at about 15, 18%. So we truly bring people from a variety of backgrounds. We have engineers, software engineers, we have structural engineers, we have teachers, we have bankers, we have marketers. So it is really kind of a really diverse class, and we're really comfortable in bringing diverse students into the business program because of that core that I talked about that everybody goes through together. We're very proud that our women percentage hovers right around 40%. This year is 38%. Last year was 40%. Again, our goal is to achieve gender parity, and we're going to be working really hard towards that goal. The class itself is about 25 to 30% international, of which the largest country representation is India. So in any given year, we may have about 15 to 25 Indian students. And really for us, we don't have any quotas. It's really based on the strength of the applicant pool. And we are very fortunate to attract a lot of great Indian candidates into our program. From a GMAT perspective, our average is 703. Though we have a pretty large range of 650 to 750. That's the 80th percentile range. So you have 10% of the class below 650, 10% of the class above a 750. Average GRE scores, it hovers right around 160. It may be in any given year 159, 158, or 160, 159, the breakdown between the quant and the verbal sides of the GRE. Undergraduate GPA, it is 3.45. Though for our Indian students, it's important to note that we don't take into account or translate your GPA into an American GPA. We have degree evaluators at the University of Texas that look at your transcripts and your marks and give the admissions committee here at McCombs a thumbs up or thumbs down related to that particular mark sheet. Because it really depends on the schools that you went to. It also depends on the subject area that you study. And they are really the experts that help us evaluate that piece. But we do not translate that into a GPA. So our Indian students do not have to worry about that whenever they're applying to McCombs. From a work experience perspective, we say that you can put together a successful application starting with 2 years work experience. The majority of our students have between 5 and 6 years work experience, but what we're really looking for is a positive and strong career trajectory. So it's more important for me, or I would look more favorably into an applicant that has 3 years, strong work experience, great impact, positive trajectory, over someone that has 7 years work experience that has been more stagnant in their job. So for us, it's really important to see that quality and how you have advanced in not only and not specifically titles, but more increased responsibilities, and you can demonstrate that through the resume, through the letter of recommendation, and as well. And I think last but not least, all of us are looking for fit. So how you demonstrate fit is by doing school research and letting us know how you're going to leverage the resources that we have to further your career, but then also how you're going to positively impact the community that you're going to be a part of. So what do you bring to the table? How are you going to make your mark into our program? So that's what we look at from a fit perspective. We're looking for that passion of why you want to be a McCombs.
Wow, that's quite a bit. And we're going to keep this in mind that, 3 to 7 years of work experience is something that goes well with your kind of school and your program. Now I'm going to ask you something which is like very close to heart, and that basically is money. So how much of a purse string you guys have? What kind of financial aid does the school offer? And what's the range of financial aid that was offered last academic cycle? Could you share any details about those things?
Sure. We know that the MBA journey is a resource-intensive proposition. And when I say resource, you're going to be taking the time off work to dedicate to your studies. So it needs to be the right decision for you. So it's resource-intensive in time, and then also resource-intensive in money. It's not a cheap proposition, and we understand currency rates may fluctuate, etc. So we're very lucky to have a significant scholarship budget that we use fully every year. So the way that the financial aid process works at McCombs in the form of scholarships, you apply to our program and you automatically consider for admissions scholarships. So when you receive the admissions decision, you're gonna know yes or no if you're admitted. If yes, you're gonna know yes or no if you're receiving any scholarship from McCombs. All of our scholarship is merit-based. So we look at the application as the way to award our scholarships. Scholarships will range between $5,000 all the way to full tuition. About 40 to 45% of our admitted students receive a scholarship offer. So we are pretty generous when it comes to scholarships. You do not need to submit any extra work. So my advice for those of you that are interested in securing scholarship funding from Texas McCombs is to apply either round 1 or round 2. We have plenty of space and still scholarship budget available for those 2 rounds, and put together the strongest application package that you can. So we also have some scholarships available for second-year students. So as a first-year student during your second semester, so let's say you come to McCombs and you don't receive a large scholarship during that first year. As you enter your second year, so that second semester, there is a scholarship application available for second year scholarships. And for those scholarships, what we take into consideration is your school involvement and your school grades. So none of your admissions essays and anything like that is considered for that. So it's almost like a fresh second chance for you to get a scholarship if you don't get it the first time around. We also have graduate assistantships available on campus. Those are secured by the students once they arrive at McCombs, because the graduate assistantships and teaching assistantships are determined by either the teacher or the staff member that's hiring. So you're going to need to develop that relationship with folks and make sure that it works for the time period that you're going to be here.
Oh, thanks a lot. I mean, that sounds so generous of you guys. And thanks for sharing those actual numbers. That really helps. A little word for our re-applicants. So we get a lot of students who would like to apply once again, give it a second shot at your school. For whatever reason, they didn't get in the previous time. So is there something that you could tell re-applicants and how they could improve their application so that they can get in the second time?
Sure. So we actually see a pretty high success rate for re-applicants at Texas McCombs. So every year we say we encourage re-applicants. We want you to build on what you've done that first time around to be successful, and we want you to be successful. A couple of things about re-applicants that might shape you up for success. One, if you're able to apply round one after that initial admission cycle, that increases your chances. I would say that re-applicants should be ready to apply by round two max. If you're a re-applicant and you wait all the way to round three to apply that following cycle, we might raise some eyebrows from our team. We might think that Texas is not your first choice because you're applying so late when most of the application was already ready. Number two, you can leverage some of the items that you already submitted previously to McCombs. So, for example, if you apply in an admission cycle and you get denied, come back, apply round one that following year, and you haven't changed jobs. So the letter of recommendation that you previously have is perfectly fine. We also ask you pretty specific re-applicant questions in the application. And one of them is, what has changed since the last time you hit that submit button? So it's really important for you to let us know how have things changed. So things that may have changed, you may have retaken a test, or focused more on the GMAT or the GRE, or maybe you took the GMAT the first time, you're taking the GRE the second time. You have increased responsibilities at work, or maybe you have changed jobs. Maybe your goals have shifted a little bit. So it's important for us to understand what has changed in the application, because it gives us an idea of how self-aware you are basing in your own self-evaluation of how you did the first time around. So those are some of the tips, but as a re-applicant, I would not be discouraged. We see a lot of success in re-applications and encourage you to do so.
Wow, that's really nice to know. Could you share some information about how you help students who are seeking career employment out there, or if they're planning to come back to back to their home country and work here? So what kind of help, what kind of support does McCombs offer to students who are looking to start a career after their program?
So I'll say that one of our biggest unsung heroes at McCombs is our career management team. So to give you an idea of how seriously we take the support that we give our students for that career search, we have a career advising team within career management, and those career advisors are teaching our strategic career planning course during that first semester. That course is a best in class when you look at top 20 MBA programs in the US and all over the globe. Our career advisors are giving advice to advisors in other schools on how to structure similar programs. And that career planning class walks you through everything from how to put together a cover letter and resume, all the way to how to negotiate an offer, right? And we're giving you the information kind of piecemeal so that you can really let the information sink in. And we really augment the career planning class with one-on-one career advising appointments with our career advisors. So in addition to the career advisor career planning class support, we have peer advisors that you select as a student. So peer advisors are second-year students that have been successful in their internship search. And that's also another great data point. Usually our first-year students select their peer advisor based on the alignment of their career goals. So that way they can hear, hey, last year I was in your shoes. Here was my strategy to secure a great internship position in product management at Amazon, if that's your career interest. So it's a great way to like see in practice everything that you're kind of doing behind the scenes with our career advising team. So the first kind of half or the one piece of the career management team is that support, that career advising, peer advising support that takes place at McCombs. The other piece is our employer relations team. So the employer relations team is really surveying our students to see where do you want to work, who do you want to work for? And their job is to attract those companies to come to campus. If a company does not come to campus, they activate our alumni network within those companies and help our students, organizations, and career advisors set up tracks where we take our students to New York, to Chicago, to Seattle, to the Bay Area, to Dallas, to Houston, and do career tracks where you're meeting alumni in key companies that our students work for, and you get a little bit of a feel of what that company looks like. So we're working both with you kind of behind the scenes to get you ready for showtime, but we're also attracting the employers to come to campus based on the interests of our students. Specifically for our international students, so the majority of our Indian students decide to stay here in the US after graduation. So we do have career advising staff that are very well versed into the immigration process in the US, the visa granting process as well. And more than anything, we give you a lot of one-on-one attention on how to really network in the US. The job search for MBA programs in the US may be very different to what you may experience in India. So making sure that you're comfortable in networking events, making sure that you have the right setup whenever you're going to case interviews, for example, making sure that you're able to showcase what you can bring from a thought perspective or a very interesting perspective coming from India that our domestic student may not have. So having your story straight, so that support is always given to our international students on a one-on-one basis as well. We have some general international student-focused seminars around career, but a lot of the work that we do is really on a one-on-one basis.
Wow, that's a lot of hand-holding you guys do for our students, and that's really nice to know that McCombs really works for the students even after their program. Yes. So parting shots, Rodrigo, would you like to say something to students, some piece of advice, some takeaway that they can, keep it and work on that for their program?
Sure. So I think my one piece of advice is, even though you're physically very far away from our Austin campus, we want you to connect with us. This is why we do these webinars. We have a ton of online info sessions and webinars that we host here at McCombs. So I encourage you to sign up for that. And beyond that, connect with us, send us an email through the Texas MBA mailbox and request to be connected with a current student. We have a ton of our Indian students have volunteered to be ambassadors for admissions ambassadors for the program. And they would love to tell you a little bit about their story, what the environment is like here at McCombs, what they're gaining from the experience, what are the things that we can do better on so you can better evaluate your MBA options. So my parting shot is, even though you're really far away, we want to connect with you. So reach out to us, connect with us as you're walking through the process. Our goal is to make sure you find the right spot for you to pursue your MBA studies. And we hope that place is here at McCombs.
Sounds great, Rodrigo. Please look out for my application in your mail. So with that, let's conclude this webinar. Thank you so much, Rodrigo, for joining us today. It's been a pleasure for me. With that, I sign off. This is Simran Khurana from ReachIvy. Thank you so much. Good night.